All right, so everyone wants to know, who is going to win Best Actress this year at the Oscars?
Yeah.
It's the big question, and I think especially this year, because
It's a tough one.
it is a tough one, and it's a unique year.
Yeah.
Because all 5 nominees are also in Best Picture nominees,
Mm-hmm.
which I think hasn't happened in like 30 years or something like
I
that.
think you're right.
Something crazy.
Yeah, that's very rare.
So we've got Cynthia Erivo in Wicked.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Karla, Sofía Gascón and Emilia Pérez.
Yes.
Mikey Madison in Anora.
Mm-hmm.
Demi Moore's in The Substance.
Right.
And Fernanda Torres in... All right, I'm still here.
It's a great lineup.
It's a very good lineup.
Yeah.
So let's start with Cynthia Erivo.
Okay.
She is obviously a very talented
Powerhouse.
She's already been nominated for an Oscar before
Mm-hmm.
and won a Tony.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's got it.
Oh, yeah.
But Wicked is coming out in 2 parts.
Right.
And I don't know. I think it's just part 1 that's eligible this year.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think part 2 comes out like next December or something.
Right.
So do they vote for,
So will that
or do they just wait?
hurt her?
Or I don't know.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting because will they feel like they're getting a complete performance?
Right.
Like, are they going to penalize her for that? Or will her performance in the first part just be so amazing that it just blows everyone out of the water and they can't deny her?
I mean, I think she's getting some really good buzz right now.
She is, yeah.
And, you know, she could sweep the other awards like the SAG Awards and the BAFTAs.
Yeah, for sure.
And that could lead to some good momentum going into the Oscars.
Oh, definitely.
So, but I don't know. It's a weird situation
Yeah, it is.
to have half of a performance, basically.
But if anyone can pull it off, I think it's her.
Yeah.
She's just got that thing, you know.
She's got it.
Like, the Academy loves to award vocal prowess. And she has that in spades.
Yes.
I mean,
Think that Jennifer Hudson in Dreamgirls
Oh.
or Renee Zellweger like channeling Judy Garland.
Thriller.
Like if she's giving that level of vocal mastery,
Mhm.
I think she could have it in the bag.
so you're thinking potential sweep then.
It's possible. Yeah, it's not outside the realm of possibility, I would say.
Okay, so Cynthia Erivo, watch out for her.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Karla Sofía Gascón.
Okay.
She is making history as the first openly trans woman
Mm-hmm.
to be nominated for Best Actress, which is amazing.
It is, yeah.
And Emilia Pérez has like 13 nominations or something like that.
A lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's clearly a favorite.
It's like the Academy just loves this film.
For sure.
So, but her co-star, Zoe Saldana, just won a Golden Globe.
Right.
Do you think that could hurt her chances because of vote splitting?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, it's always a possibility when
Right.
you have 2 great performances from the same film.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like, well, do we have to pick one?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
they both deserve it, but I think with Karla Sofía Gascón, there's this other layer to consider.
Right.
It's not just the performance.
Right.
You know, it's about representation, and, you know, the Academy is always looking for ways to,
Mhm.
you know, be more inclusive, and this is a huge moment for them.
I mean, but some would say her performance is so good.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, like it's so...
She's getting rave reviews.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard some critics say it's like the most transformative of her career. So,
Wow.
you know, maybe it doesn't matter, but we can't ignore the cultural significance either.
Right.
This is a big moment for trans representation in Hollywood.
Yeah, it really is.
And I think that will be on a lot of voters' minds.
Okay, so do we think Zoe Saldana is actually going to hurt her chances or help them or what?
I mean, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
You know, it's a delicate balance. You know, you want to reward great performances, but you also want to acknowledge these important milestones.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough.
All right, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
All right, so we are going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Sounds good. Okay, so we're back.
Back again, and I still don't know who's going to win.
I know. It's
Yeah.
tough, right?
So tough.
It's like they're all so good.
Yeah, so let's go back to Cynthia Erivo.
Okay.
We were talking about how she's got all this momentum, possibly,
Right.
and she's amazing,
Yeah.
but that Wicked is in 2 parts.
Right.
So do you think that's really going to hurt her chances or not?
I think it's definitely a possibility, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like people are going to want to see the whole story.
Yeah, they might not want to make a decision.
Right, exactly. Like imagine you're a voter and you're like, wow, I love this performance, but I don't know how it ends.
Right,
You know, like
right.
what if she's terrible in part 2?
Right. What is she?
I mean, obviously she's not going to be, but
She's amazing.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're kind of taking a leap of faith.
It's a gamble.
It's a gamble, and I don't know if the Academy is going to be willing to take that gamble.
Especially because this is a really competitive year.
Exactly. There are so many other great performances to choose from.
So maybe they'll just be like, you know what, let's wait and see.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening.
Okay, so Cynthia, Erivo, he could go either way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about Karla, Sofía, Gascón?
Okay, so she's got all this buzz, you know.
Yeah, she's making history.
Yeah, she's making history.
And the film has all these nominations,
Right.
but Zoe Saldana won a Golden Globe.
Right, and they're both in the same film.
So that's where I'm like, is that going to hurt her chances or help?
Yeah, it's tricky because on the one hand, you have the vote splitting thing
Right.
where people are like, oh, I love them both, but I have to pick one.
Yeah.
So they might end up canceling each other out.
Right.
But on the other hand, like you said, she's making history.
Yeah.
And I think the Academy is very aware of that.
So maybe they'll want to like check that box.
Yeah, and her performance is so good.
Yeah.
Like, it's getting all this critical acclaim. So it's not like they're just voting for her because of who she is.
Right, she actually deserves to win.
Exactly. It's the total package.
Okay, so maybe Zoe Saldana won't hurt her chances then.
I mean, it's hard to say for sure.
Yeah.
Award season is so unpredictable,
It really is.
but I think she's definitely in the running.
Okay, so Karla, Sofía, Gascón, still a contender.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Let's talk about Mikey Madison.
Okay, so she's like the ingenue of the group.
Yeah, she's so young.
Yeah, she's only like 22 or something.
And she's amazing in Anora.
Oh, she's phenomenal. Like,
I know.
she just blows you away.
But do you think the Academy's going to give it to someone so young?
That's a good question. You know,
They have been going with older actresses lately.
they have, yeah, like Frances McDormand and Olivia Colman and Jessica Chastain.
Like all those women were in their 40s and 50s.
Yeah, it's definitely been a trend.
So do you think that's going to hurt Mikey Madison's chances?
It might. I mean, it's possible that they're looking for someone with more experience. You know, someone who's kind of paid their dues.
Yeah.
But then again, she's just so good.
Yeah,
Like, she could be the exception to the rule.
she really could.
You know, sometimes a performance comes along that's just so undeniable
Right.
that age doesn't even matter.
Okay, so you're saying there's hope for Mikey Madison?
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't count her out.
Okay, good, because I love her.
Me too. She's fantastic.
Okay, so let's move on to Demi Moore.
Okay, so this is like the comeback story of the year.
Oh, totally.
I mean, she's been through so much.
I know.
And to see her back on top like this is just amazing.
And her performance in The Substance is like,
Oh my
I
God.
know, it's like her best work ever.
It's so raw and so vulnerable.
Yeah, and that scene where she's...
Oh my God, the makeup scene?
Yes.
I'm like getting chills just thinking about it.
I know, it's so powerful.
It's like the kind of scene that just stays with you.
Yeah.
Like, you can't shake it.
But here's the thing.
What?
The Substance is kind of a weird movie.
Yeah, it's not your typical Oscar bait.
Yeah, it's like got those dark elements,
Mm-hmm.
and it's almost like a horror movie in some parts.
Right.
So do you think that's going to hurt her chances?
I think it's a possibility, you know.
Yes.
The Academy tends to like their movies to be a little more, you know, traditional.
Right.
But then again, they've surprised us before.
True.
Like, they gave the Oscar to Black Swan.
Oh, yeah, that was a crazy movie.
Right, so it's not impossible.
So maybe they'll go for it.
I mean, Demi Moore is a legend.
Yeah.
And she's giving the performance of a lifetime.
So maybe they'll just throw the rule book out the window.
Maybe.
We'll see.
It's going to be interesting.
Okay, last but not least, Fernanda Torres.
Okay, so she's kind of like the dark horse in this race. Like,
Yeah.
she's not getting as much buzz
Right.
as the other nominees,
Right.
but she just won a Golden Globe.
Yeah.
And I'm Still Here is nominated for Best Picture and Best International Feature.
So maybe it's like a slow burn, you know?
That could be, yeah.
Like maybe she's going to peak at just the right time.
It's possible.
And she's got that family connection too.
Yeah. Her mother was nominated for an Oscar,
Yeah.
so that might give her some extra credibility with the Academy.
Okay, so Fernanda Torres, don't count her out.
Definitely not. She's a real contender.
All right, so we've talked about all the nominees,
We have.
and I still have no idea who's going to win.
I know, me neither.
It's so close this year.
It really is. It's like anyone's game.
Okay, so let's try to make some predictions.
All right, game on.
Let's start with Cynthia Erivo.
Okay.
She's amazing in Wicked,
Oh, yeah.
but it's in 2 parts,
Right.
and we've only seen part 1.
Yeah, that's the big question mark, isn't it?
Do you think voters are going to be okay with that?
I don't know. It's tough because on the one hand, you want to reward a great performance.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, you want to make sure you're voting for a complete story.
Right.
So I could see some voters being hesitant.
Like maybe they'll say, let's wait until next year.
Exactly.
Well, we've seen the whole thing.
But then again, she could be so good in part 1. Right.
That they just can't deny her.
I mean, I've heard she's phenomenal.
Yeah, she's getting rave reviews.
So maybe it won't matter.
It might not. We'll see.
Okay, what about Karla Sofía Gascón?
Okay, so she's got the historical significance.
Mm-hmm.
And Emilia Pérez is a critical darling.
Mm-hmm.
But there's that vote-splitting issue with Zoe Saldana.
Right.
So I'm not sure what's going to happen there.
I mean, do you think voters are going to feel like they have to choose?
I think it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
You know, especially if they love both performances.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, well, I can only vote for one.
Right.
So who do I pick?
So do you think Zoe Saldana actually hurts Karla Sofía Gascón's chances?
It's possible.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't think it's a foregone conclusion.
Okay.
I mean, Gascon's performance is so powerful.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's making history,
Mm-hmm.
I think that could sway some voters.
So maybe it'll all work out.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Mikey Madison.
Okay, so she's the young up-and-comer.
Yeah. And she's giving an amazing performance. But the Academy hasn't been very kind to young actresses lately.
Right, they've been going for the more experienced actresses.
You get like in their 40s and 50s.
So do you think that's going to hurt Mikey Madison?
It might. Yeah.
Ugh,
It's hard to say because her performance is so good.
I know.
But I think age could be a factor.
Okay, so maybe not Mikey Madison then.
I'm not saying she can't win.
Okay.
I'm just saying it's going to be tough.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Demi Moore?
All right, so she's the comeback queen.
Yeah.
And her performance is just breathtaking.
I know.
But the substance is kind of a dark horse.
Yeah.
Like, it's not your typical Oscar movie.
Right, it's got those horror elements.
Yeah, and it's pretty intense.
So do you think that's going to work against her?
It could, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Academy tends to be pretty conservative.
Mhm.
But then again, they've surprised us before.
True.
Yeah.
So it's a gamble.
It is, yeah.
Okay, last but not least, Fernanda Torres.
Okay, so she's the underdog.
Yeah.
But she's got a lot going for her.
Like what?
Well, she just won a Golden Globe,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm Still Here is nominated for Best Picture and Best International Feature.
So she's got some momentum.
She does, yeah.
And she's got that family connection too.
Right. Her mother was nominated for an Oscar.
So maybe she's the one to watch?
It's possible, yeah.
Okay. So those are our predictions.
Or lack thereof. I mean, it's really anyone's game this year,
It really is.
which makes it so exciting.
I know. I can't wait to see what happens.
Me too. It's going to be a great night.
All right. Well, that's it for our deep dive into the Best Actress race.
Hope you enjoyed it.
I know I did. It's always fun to talk about the Oscars.
Yeah, it's such a glamorous and exciting event.
And it's a celebration of the best in film.
Absolutely.
So thanks for listening, everyone.
And we'll see you next time.